Hi everyone, I'm Robert. Welcome to Purebred Dogs JA, where we'll be looking at all purebred dogs across the island. Now, today we'll be looking at a very unique breed in the Belgian Malinois. Now, who else is the best person to share with us than the person who imported these dogs to the island? Michael Fisher. Let's go. Alright, Michael, thanks for having us again. Alright, so how long have you been a breeder, dog breeder?
35 years.
Yeah?
Yeah,
So,
it's a bit over 35 years.
so how has that experience been?
A lot of ups and downs, but it's a hobby that became a business.
Alright, and I'm assuming that has been going well.
Yes, it has been. I'm grateful. I truly am grateful.
Good. Alright, so we are here to look at a specific breed, right? The Malinois. Now, as I said earlier, you are the best person to give an insight about these dogs.
Right.
Alright, so when did you import these dogs?
The first set of dogs that I brought in, which were the Belgian Malinois, was 1998. Yeah. So I had imported Malinois, 6 of them within a 2-year period. Okay. And those were the Belgian line Malinois.
Oh, so yeah. How many different lines?
Well, you have, in the Malis, you have the Belgian line, you have the Dutch line, some people call them the herders, and then you have the Dutch Shepherd. Now what makes the difference is that the Dutch Shepherd are brindle, you know, like the pit bulls with the stripes.
Yeah.
And in a litter, you can have Malinois and Dutch Shepherds. Oh. So the ones that are brindle are called Dutch Shepherds. And okay. the brown ones are Malinois. Oh,
that's information for a lot of persons, you know.
Exactly. And then, of course, there are black Malinois as well.
Okay.
Yeah, those are pretty dogs as well.
What would have inspired you to bring these dogs to Jamaica?
Very good question. My father was the first person to bring Rotties to Jamaica back in 1972. He was a dog breeder, dog trainer.
So where it is
right.
From, you follow that footstep.
And when he brought the Rotties in, the Rotties were nice. Well, let me not say were. At the time, they were different dogs, you know. And then the breeding had changed. And I kind of lost interest in the Rotties for a while. They weren't giving me what I wanted in terms of work ethics. And a couple of the other breeds, you know, not to talk bad about other breeds, but it just wasn't giving me what I wanted.
Okay.
And I actually went to England to buy one of the Czech line German Shepherds. That was my intention. And my friend said to me, let's drive north. You ever seen the Mali? So I said, let's go. And they put me in a sleeve and a suit, and a Mali, the average Mali weighs 65, 70 pounds. And this dog, when it hit me on the sleeve, it put me on the ground. And I said, no, that's a fluke, send him again. And the dog put me on the ground again. I mean, you're talking to somebody who takes bite from Mastiffs, from Sheps, from Dobies, you name it. But the velocity of a Malinois is such that it will put you on the ground. It can search, super intelligent, the drives are over the roof, and I fell in love with the breed.
Interestingly, I said super intelligent. These dogs, based on research, the Malinois is actually one of the dogs that found Bin Laden, Osama Bin Laden.
Exactly.
So, you know, they are very intelligent dogs, and I realize the military use them a lot as well.
Exactly.
So, what I wanted to ask, how do you differentiate because a lot of persons may get confused in terms of the German Shepherd, especially now, in persons mixing them. But how do you differentiate the Malinois from the Shepherd for persons who don't know? So, for instance, a person would want a Shepherd line dog.
Right.
How would you differentiate these dogs?
Well, first of all, aesthetically, a German Shepherd is a bigger dog, heavier bone structure, usually carries more hair. A Mali is more lean, lighter frame. Yeah. Malis have a flat back. German Shepherds tend to have a slope back. Now, working the dogs, a Mali will pick up on stuff very quickly. You know, you show a Mali something today and tomorrow it wants something more, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes, some of them, they'll come to you and they're like, you know, come, what do you have to teach me today? And it's really a joy to work with them.
Okay.
The checkline sheps I like, yeah? They have good work ethics as well.
Okay.
And they'll search, they'll do man work, you know, you name it, and it gives you a nice all-round dog.
So if we're looking for security, this is the dog.
You know, I had the pleasure of going to Holland and to sit with some of the old guys over there.
Yeah.
And what they say is pedigree doesn't make a dog, all right? What they are looking for is the dog. Now, that being said is that they have bred the Malis and the Dutches to work.
Okay.
So as a result, their bloodlines, their pedigrees, the focus is on working. And a lot of them are coming from dogs that have been outcrossed to other breeds and brought back in to create a tougher dog, a dog with more drive, a dog with a bigger bite, you name it. So basically these guys in Holland, they have spent, and Belgium have spent years developing a working breed. So for that reason, I give them the edge, because more emphasis is spent on breeding them for working in comparison to other things, you know.
If you can share a story with one of your, best moments with one of these dogs, what would you say?
Wow.
I know you probably have a lot.
Have a lot. The first Mali I brought in, I think I'm on YouTube with him as well, was a big dog. I wasn't into conformation showing, and I said, all right, let me take him to the dog show.
Yeah.
He actually won his class and was called back. I mean, there weren't a lot of Malis back then, but he was called back into the best breed. And I left because, I wasn't really into showing. And the judge, who is a Mali person, sent message saying he was really disappointed that I didn't bring the dog back into the honors class.
You had mentioned dog shows. So these dogs are registered by the Jamaica Kennel Club?
Okay, no. Well, the first set of Malis that I brought in, those two were English Kennel Club registered, so I was able to transfer the papers to the Jamaica Kennel Club. But after that, I didn't bother to register, because then the line started getting so close that I had to go out. I had to go out to a German Shepherd and come back. And so at that point, I couldn't register them any longer as purebred dogs.
Okay.
But since then, we have enough Malis that we're able to bring back the Malis to Malis.
Okay, so you have registered Malis now?
No, we have a working dog registration, which most of us now who are breeders of Malis and Dutches, we have now started registering our dogs on BRN.
Okay.
We get a BRN number, which basically tells everybody what the background is on the dog. The same registration like you would with the Jamaica Kennel Club.
Yeah, but it's not the purebred line.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a working line. They simply show you where these dogs are coming from.
Okay.
And if you study the line, you're seeing some top quality dogs in these bloodlines that we now have in Jamaica. We actually have some very good bloodlines.
I got the pleasure to really look at some of your pups, the Belgian, the Malinois. How is raising these pups? Earlier you mentioned
outcrossing.
Outcrossing.
Yeah.
Explain to us, a little bit more.
Okay.
What that means.
What happens a lot of times is because we're limited on the dogs that we have here in Jamaica. What happens a lot of dogs, especially with more rare breeds here in Jamaica, is that you end up inbreeding. So you go father-daughter, back to uncle, back to daughter. And so what you find happens after a while is that the lines kind of get watered down. You start seeing physical issues. You start seeing mental issues, right? Don't get me wrong, I have made the mistake as well. I've bred too close, and I'll be the first to tell you that I've had some problems with those close breeds.
You have regrets as it relates to the state of the line, in a sense?
Well, not the Malis, because what has happened is you have a couple of guys who have brought in dogs since I've brought in dogs, right? Anton, another good friend of mine, Wooler, You see him a lot on Instagram. Willa brought in some lines. Anton contributed a lot to the breeding program. He brought some good dogs in.
Yeah.
And so we basically have 3 good lines plus the Belgian line. So we have about 4 good lines out here in Jamaica.
Okay.
And so we're at a place now where we can be breeding on these 4 different lines. But in 3 years, we're going to need a fresh male.
Okay, and that would lead to my next question in terms of what are your plans in terms of the preservation of the Malinois?
Okay.
You know, so
The good thing is that our Malinois group, we're now in good dialogue, and we're discussing, okay, like one of the guys in the program, he is interested in bringing in a male from a totally different bloodline. Another guy plans to bring in a male as well, totally different bloodline as well. So if those 2 males come in, which are totally different lines, it brings back into the pool. All right?
Good.
So now we'd have 7 different lines rather than just 5, right?
Yeah, so, and that in a sense, you wouldn't have to
outcross, which is more a case of you go out to another breed and then you come back.
No, that's what I'm saying in terms of based on how your things are setting up now.
Right.
That wouldn't be necessary really.
Not at this point. I have had to do quite a bit of outcrossing because the lines were just too limited.
Okay.
And I've done some outcrosses and come back. So now I'm probably about 3 or 4 generations back online. And I've gotten some really good results.
Yeah. Well, I have seen Duco. Duco seems like an amazing
puppy. Duco is.
We'll show him later.
He's going to be a handful.
So we mentioned Duco. What advice would you give to persons with, a pup growing now? I realized you were training him, the tree training.
Right.
So we can explain a little bit more and give a little tip about that.
So tree training is a training technique that has become more and more popular. Basically, to train a dog, you have to have drive. The dog has to want to do it. So you have different drives. You have food drive, which is what I was doing with Duco, fooling around with the food. You have prey drive, where the dog wants a ball or the dog wants a tug or something like that. So the drive is for that tug. I call it praise drive, where basically they may not have food drive, they may not have prey drive, but they have a drive to please their owner. They only want to hear good boy, and the dog just goes into another zone. Now the problem is, if you don't have one of those, it's going to make training really challenging, and then you're going to have to use compulsion. Compulsion is jerk, push down, jerk.
So you want it to be natural.
Exactly. I don't want to have to rough the dog to get the dog to do it. I mean, like I have some client dogs right now. I've been using treat training. I have one, I kid you not, when my vehicle drives into the yard, the dog jumps through the window to come for training because the dog looked forward to the training program. And my training has evolved to that place. I used to be the trainer who uses compulsion for every dog.
All right.
But times have changed. Like everything else, you improve,
All right, so that takes us to the next segment where we look at the dog training. And guys, there's a little surprise. I'm going to sleep up. Let's go. All right, so now we'll be looking at dog training. Now, there are 2 types of training. So let Michael just tell us what are those trainings.
Okay, 2 basic type of training here. Well, actually 3 in Jamaica. Because what's becoming more popular now since COVID is that people spending a lot more time at home with their dogs and realizing how little control they have on their dog. So however, it's obedience, behavioral modification, and protection. Those are probably the 3 biggest demands.
Sometimes people say a purebred dog, immediately they think, I'm in danger. What would you say to that?
Okay. All right. First of all, one of the biggest issues we have here in Jamaica is that a lot of people want a dog, but they don't know what is involved in raising the dog, expectations of the dog. They think because they bought the dog should do everything, and it doesn't work like that. You have breeds that are more aggressive or going to drive towards people stronger than other breeds, right? The person who owns a dog has to be responsible. Has to be responsible. Your gate must be closed, your fence must be fixed. Don't tell people it's okay, come into the yard, the dog won't trouble you. I've heard so many people get bitten like that. Now this is where my training comes in, and I've started doing this a lot and I find it helps. When I work with the client, I get the client to start handling their dog.
Yeah.
And things that the client was not aware of, I point out to them. And I will see a puppy and I'll say to the client, this dog will bite somebody. Let us tailor our training so you can control that. And they are oblivious to the fact that this dog is starting to change. You know a puppy going on, and then all of a sudden you're starting to see a little expression change, and you know this dog is getting ready to nail somebody. As a trainer, I point it out to the owner and say, hey, we have to start getting this under control.
We're going to show, this is a sleeve that I'm going to use, but let Michael tell us a little bit more about the sleeve.
Okay, so the sleeve is what most agitators or most protection training is done with. However, you have the suit, the full suit, you have the hidden suit, you have the leg bites, you have hidden gauntlet things where you wear a long sleeve and the dog doesn't actually see a sleeve. So when the dog attacks, the dog is attacking the person. And then that person protects himself with this hidden sleeve.
Okay.
When you get to that stage and you know your dog has started to advance. But today we're using a sleeve. Now, the dog that I'm bringing out for Robert is a clean dog. He bites hard, and he has been taught that when he bites, he's to push. Unlike some other dogs that they pull, we encourage him to push. The long-term goal is that the dog bites, push the person to the floor, and then maul the person, right? But you train the dog to do that. You also put the obedience on him where you can out him when it is enough.
Yeah.
So, Robert, have you ever done this kind of work?
A long time ago, I would have worked with a gentleman you would have trained actually.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
So basically you're a virgin. Well, him going to get the right dog to bite him today. So you're just going to hold your sleeve like that, right? Keep your legs bent, strengthen your core. And I'm going to bring the dog in and he's going to bite right here.
All right.
Now once he bites here, I want you to step back. In fact, I'll even come and help you. He's going to do this, wham, and then he's going to do wham. Every time he hits, you back up, right? And then he's going to pull, bam, and bite again.
Right.
He's not releasing, he just slams into you. So I'm going to come in behind you and I'll kind of guide you as to how to do it.
All right.
All right.
Alright, so now we're going to do a demonstration and see how powerful this dog actually is. So, I'm all sleeved up and ready. So, bring him come. Oh, I'm nervous. Alright. Ah, Jesus! I'm powerful enough! Alright.
Good. Every time he hits like that, you move back up.
Alright.
You just take a small step and Alright.
Oh.
Good.
Alright.
Excellent.
Okay. Nobody papa man no. Alright. Powerful no.
Okay, so you just bring let's go down.
Oh my. Up to my chest, I put it out. Out? I'm going to give it a sleeve now. Alright, giving it now. Alright, go. Whoa. Alright. Woo.
This is a very dark coated male. A Dutch Shepherd because he still has some brindle in him. So he's very dark. Had he no brindle in him, he would be a black Dutchie or a black Dutch. Okay, So I kid you not, when this dog has not had any official agitation, I pull him out, I give him a bite, he secures the back of my yard, and he looks forward to it. And this is what I spoke about, breeding. This is just genetic. This is just sheer nature. Ready? Get him! Okay. Wait on him to push you. Wait on him. Stand still. Alright. You peel her off. Yes. 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 Alright, let's drop the sleep. I'll hold it till you're ready. Out!
If you want a security dog, if you want a dog well trained, you know who to call. We'll provide Michael's info in the video. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, Purebred Dogs JA, for stopping by. I can be reached at 876-395-2532. That's a WhatsApp number. I can be reached on Instagram, F. Michael Fisher. Was really good doing this little demonstration today. Look forward to seeing you guys.
Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. That's the end of our show. If you like this show and would like to see more videos, subscribe. Just do the right thing. Subscribe. And also comment and let us know your thoughts. Tell us what breed you would like to see next for us to showcase. Thanks.